Oh, when President Barack Obama was sworn in, there were a lot of words spoken, always are, some treasured traditions, such as the oath of office.
Absolutely, but there were also some new words, including those written by a poet from Maine. Richard Blanco was the inaugural poet. Since then, he's been on a whirlwind media tour, interviewed by national and international outlets, but no one has sat down with Blanco in his Bethel home to talk about what really inspired the poem until now. News 13's Kim Block reports.
One light, waking up rooftops.
This is what Richard Blanco saw when he delivered the inaugural poem from the steps of the U.S. Capitol. But in his mind, he was picturing this.
Is this where you find some of your inspiration? It has to be.
Yeah, definitely. It's part of what I look at every day when I write.
And it is where Blanco practiced reading One Today, outdoors on his deck, projecting to the mountain range, the snowman below, and a present from a friend that became a useful prop.
So this was kind of your inaugural podium?
Yes, yeah, and then
this is the crowd? And
that was the crowd, yeah, the mountains and the trees were my crowd. And actually, while I was reading, it helped to soothe my nervous tension in a way, to just think of this scene in the back of my head and just realize that, I'm just reading to the snowman, just reading from my house.
It also helped to practice the poem outdoors in the main elements, a chance to prepare for that chilly inauguration morning.
I said, well, I better get used to my mouth, and my lips better get used to the cold weather, too. So I would practice, just sort of getting up and going up to the podium and then reading out loud and trying to project my voice to an outdoor space. That's something I had never done, especially at that scale.
But before the poem could be rehearsed, it had to be written. That happened here, inside the peaceful setting of the Bethel home Blanco shares with his partner of 12 years. Though the environment may have been soothing, the assignment was anything but.
I received the call on December 12th, and then they said about 2 to 3 weeks to write 3 poems. So, yeah.
Of the 3, the inaugural committee chose this one, One Today.
One ground. Our ground.
And though Blanco had no idea what the president would say, he was thrilled that his poem seemed to match the spirit and intent of the inaugural speech.
Hope, a new constellation.
To see how the poem echoed some of what his speech was about made a lot of sense. And also, when I got up to the podium, when I was going up to the podium, they both the president and the vice president stood up and shook my hand and welcomed me to the podium, so to speak. So I was like, wow. That was also very a confidence boost, because it made me feel like, well, I think they actually have read this poem.
Mr. President.
But it really felt like awesome to sort of be ushered in a way emotionally up to the podium. So that really helped.
Oh, I bet.
And the snowman.
That and the snowman.
Together.
And in the process, Richard Blanco carved his way into history.
That's Kim Block reporting. Blanco says it wasn't just the beauty of Bethel that helped inspire the poem. It really was the people, too. So in part 2 of her interview, Kim talks more with Blanco about how that small town community helped him define America. That is coming up tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.